the stitches on the cable needle, the reason for the cable needle, it has this loop, is that when we lift those stitches that we rest off, they're hanging kind of like in a little boat safely. Okay, that's the reason why we're using the cable needle. Okay, we are now beginning row number 5. 5 is your cable row, okay? You're going to purl the first stitches until you get to your first cable. So purl your background, which is 10 stitches for you. All right. All right, now we got our cable, right? All right, so here comes our first cable. Our cable is combined of 6 stitches. We're going to do a rope, and the rope is kind of like draping it. It's kind of like a rope effect. It's kind of like twisting a rope effect, okay? All right, so the first 3 stitches off your cable, we're going to lift off, and we are resting them on this cable needle and lay it on the front, to the front. Just lift them off. Do you want me to show you the first one and you do the next one?
So like lift them.
Just lift them off. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Make sure you slide them on the cable needle into the center because you don't want to lose them. We're going to hang them to the front and we're going to leave them alone.
Okay.
You're going to knit the next 3 stitches. Disregard the ones hanging there now. Just continue knitting those 3 stitches now. 1, 2, 3. All right, now stop. Now we got to knit the ones that we have temporarily laid over here. And the way we're knitting them, we are knitting them in the sequence we have taken them from the needle. Meaning, the first one you're going to have to knit off is this one. So rest this needle, grab your cable needle, that is the needle on your left hand side now, and knit these 3 off the cable needle.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean by it's like.
Disregard the blue one. Just make sure, okay, disregard the blue one for right now and knit the 3 off from the cable needle. There you go.
You see that?
1,
It's tight, yeah.
right? 2, and 3. Very good. Perfect. Drop down the cable needle because you're finished with it. Let the needle go and continue knitting your pattern with your blue one. The next one is going to be regular purl stitches until you get to your next cable. It's getting a little bit tight already on the needle. That's okay.
That's okay. Okay.
Okay. Are we back on our next cable?
Yeah.
Make sure you got your 6 knit stitches in front of you. Right? Get the cable needle and bring the first 3 onto the cable needle. Safely lift them off and let them hang in front. But make sure when you lift them up, you're going to make them lift off and make sure the stitches go directly into that little boat. That's where they hang safest, okay? Knit the next 3. Now stop with this blue needle, let that one go, and get your cable needle and knit those stitches off in the sequence you have put them on there. Meaning, yes, that is going to be your first one. You knit them from the cable needle. All 3. Don't worry, it's getting a little bit tight. You got 3 cables, that's okay.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Next 2.
Do your regular purl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 purls, and stop until when you get to the cable. It may look a little bit tight, but don't worry about it, because on your next row, on your final row, on your pattern, they're all gonna loosen up again. Okay, you at that cable? Okay. When you get to those 2 cable stitches, which are your knit stitches, you're going to knit the second one from behind. Knit it, then leave it on there, don't drop it off. Now get to the first one and knit that one. Now let both off the needle, and guess what happened? You twisted them without a cable needle. I'll show you one more time. I'm doing your purl right now. Okay, here are your 2 knit stitches. From the back, the second one you're gonna knit off. Don't do anything with the first one. Reach in the second one, knit that one, but hold it on there. Now bring it back to the front and knit the first one. At that point, drop them both. And you will see when you come back on the next row, how you twisted the stitches in a cable format without using your cable. You can only do that really with 2 stitches. It can be done with 3, but it gets too tight and too difficult, and really too tight. When you got more than 2 stitches, that's really is best when you take the help of a needle.
Like this?
From the back, you knit the second one, the second cable stitch from the back. So where are your 2 knit stitches? Okay, it's your first one, this is your second one. I want you to knit the second one. From the back.
I did.
Poke from the back. Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. But hold it. Now knit the first one from the front.
Like this?
Yes. Yes. Drop both from the needle. You're good to go. And finish up the row. You will see how they twist it on the next row when they loosen up a little bit. She's doing good too. It gets tight a little bit with the one on the cable. Don't worry about it. It's just 1 cable row. But it's going to look awesome by the time you get finished with the next row. You're knitting with 3 needles. Look at that. Very good. You finish with the cable needle, you can just drop it. Yeah, I drop it sometimes literally on the table at that point. And finish up your row. And know that that was row number 5. Row number 5 on your pattern is your cable row. Very good. I love cables. I mean, I just love it. And you knit them just the way they're coming to you now. There's no twisting on that row. But when you turn it around, you'll see how you twisted those stitches. You did a cable with 2 stitches without a cable needle. Very good. So you did your cable row. Now when you look over those stitches, you will see that the cables kind of like bunched the stitches together. So it's not really nice to look at right now. Now you're going to do your final row, which is row number 6. That will loosen up all those stitches again, and you're finished with your pattern. So do row number 6 and then look at your cable stitch. You knit row number 6 just the way like you're supposed to.
Like it comes to you.
You're going to start out with your knit stitches, then come to purl, then come knit, then come purl, then come knit. Just your regular pattern, this pattern.
Yeah.
No twisting, no cable, no nothing. And that also loosens up the stitches a little bit now when you get to that cable. Sorry. And then when you continue in your row, do you see how this twisted?
Yeah, I do see it now.
Okay, and the further you go, you will see how you twisted them and you cable them without using a cable needle. So in your pattern, I would recommend do 4 rows. How many rows did you do until you got to the first cable?
I did 2.
2? Okay, then continue that pattern. Do 2 regular rows. Yeah, and then do a cable row.
So would this last row that I did count as a regular one?
Yeah, a purl. That's regular purl. That's right. Yeah, go right back to your pattern, just the way you did. So your pattern consists then of 3 rows. 2 regular rows, and then do a cable row. Without a cable needle. And if you don't have a cable needle, I have done cables at home with toothpicks. Because if you just need to find somewhere where you can rest those stitches for just a moment safely, you'll figure out something you can grab at home saying, okay, I can't do this with 2 needles, I need to rest them on something. And I've done it with toothpicks, so I guess a pencil would work. Very good. When you finish with this row, then you're going to look at the front, because your next row would be a front row. You'll be amazed. I love cables. I mean, this cable was a similar one what I brought in from that hot bottle, that hot water bottle. I love horseshoe cables. They look very nice. Was it harder to hold them in the back or in the front?
It was harder
In the back?
in the back.
Because you kind of like don't see them no more because they're hanging there, right?
Yeah.
I guess one more reason to make sure that when you hold them temporarily on the cable needle, make sure you hold them right there in that groove, in that little loop. That's the safest way. I mean, that's why a cable needle has that little U shape. Because you don't want them to slide off while you're dealing with the other needle knitting further. You want to keep them safe. Do you think cable is hard, Faith? No? What's not hard is you do a cable pattern over 6 rows, but in those 6 rows you only got a cable 1 row
Yeah.
to create the cable. That's what makes cable sweaters look so difficult, and they're really not. Just that 1 row it is, I guess, a little bit, yeah. The thing about the cable or any pattern, make sure when you stop knitting for that day that you remember what row you're on. So you're dealing right now with a 6-row pattern. So when you pick it up this evening and you knit, you may want to do all 6 rows before you eat dinner.
Yeah.
Just so you don't lose your count where you are, right? I've done, and I say that from experience because I've done plenty of that, believe me. Not just eating dinner and then walking the dog, then coming back thinking, oh my God, what row was I? Now look at it from the front.
Yeah.
You see how it is twisting?
Yeah.
How it's coming in? Yeah, look. She's doing it.
I see.
No?
I like it.
It looks good. It really does. Would you know how to continue now with this one?
Mhm.
How do you continue on this one?
So would you start doing the 4 rows again?
4 regular rows. Just do your regular pattern, purl and knit, right? Then you get to the 5th row. That is your cable row. So you're gonna take this, I guess she needs this cable needle now for right now. So you take that cable needle, and the 6th row is kind of like, because the 6th row is when you kind of like loosen them up again. The cable is kind of like bunching them together a little bit tight. But the 6th row is loosening it up. So your next is 4 regular rows, then a cable row, then the 6th row, and then you finish with your patch.
Okay.
Did I do this right?
Yes, you did.
So when I finish and I want to start like a different pattern, I stop on the cable
I
row?
on a cable, no, your pattern is 6 rows. So you finish always 6 rows. So if you
Alright.
want to start another color or another pattern, make sure you're going to finish
On the
that
6th
cable
row.
pattern with entirely 6 rows.
Okay.
So to really make it look, and so a little bit comes out from the cable, I would recommend at least 3 cable rows. That would be like this. So you see enough of the cable.
Yeah.
Which would be a total of like 18 rows basically. So just to make sure that you see enough of the cable.
Oh, the thing's fine now. Yeah.